Assalamu alaikum. This is Megan Wyatt answering your question here at About Islam. So I'm really feeling for you because you've described a situation where your mother is elderly, she's not doing well, and you really want to go and be by her side, but your husband has made you promise that you would never go and see her. And the reasoning behind that is because he and your brothers had a quarrel 15 years ago, and you've described yourself as a happily married woman otherwise for the past 24 years, but ever since your husband and your brothers had some issue between the two of them, your husband has told you that you would, asked you to promise that you would never go and visit your parents, is what I'm hearing. You said your father has already passed away, and you're worried about your mother passing away and you not being able to see her. And she really wants to see you. You are her daughter. And so you're asking, what are you supposed to do? Your mother has such an honored place in Islam. Your husband has such an honored place in Islam. Like, who are you supposed to listen to? And I have to be real and say that a question like this is really heartbreaking because really when you think about it, the answer to this, it's common sense. Whatever issues your husband had with your brothers is between him and your brothers. And that is something that those men need to work out with each other. But that issue, whatever it is, should not translate to the relationship that you have with your mother or with your parents. It should not prevent you from being able to be with her, to visit her, to serve her in her old age. And this is a really great example of people holding on to grudges and allowing those grudges to then oppress other individuals. I don't know what the issue between them, between your brothers and your husband is. And maybe your husband legitimately has a reason to be angry at them. He has a very legitimate reason not to speak to them. Allahu alam, that I don't know. But whatever happened regarding your brothers, your mother is not one of your brothers. Your mother is the woman that gave birth to you and cared for you and raised you. And if your husband loves you, then he would want you to honor your own mother because without her, you're not even in his life. And so what I would encourage you to do is to sit down and have a conversation with him and be direct. And understanding that whatever happened between him and your brothers 15 years ago, that's between them and for them to work out. But that it is not right for him to cause your mother to suffer and for you to suffer so that the two of you aren't able to see each other and be with each other. You and your husband both have children, and so your husband should understand now more than anybody else how precious the relationship with children, how precious that relationship is. And so I want you to invite him to get into a place and imagine that you and him are old and feeble, and all you want to do is see the face of your beautiful children. But because one of your kids had a fight with their future brother-in-law or sister-in-law, that they're not anymore allowed to come and see the both of you. I would hope that he would see how irrational his decision is and how he's allowed his anger to get the best of him. So first, make dua, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open his heart, to soften his heart, so that this doesn't have to be an issue between the two of you, so that this doesn't have to be tension between the two of you. Second is to let him know that whatever happened between him and your brothers is between them, but that it's time for you to take care of and visit your mother. And to be very honest with him, that there is no way that you would ever be able to not feel resentment or bitterness towards him if your own mother died and you didn't get to see her or be with her while she was alive because of whatever happened. And the other piece I want you to present is this. It's very likely that whenever it is that your mother does pass away, and may Allah grant her a long and happy life, but whenever that time does come, it's most likely then your husband will say you can go to the janazah. But that's not the time for you to travel. So yes, of course, inshallah, we're all able to attend janazahs for the people that we love, but more important is for you to be there while she's alive. For you to hold her hands while she's alive, to kiss her forehead while she's alive, to bring happiness to her heart while she is alive, to be able to be by her side while she is alive, not after she's passed away. And so I think opening your heart to your husband and letting him know that this burden is too heavy to carry, and that you are sorry for whatever it is that your brothers said, that the two of them fought over, but that you don't want you and your mother any further to suffer, that you love her and you miss her, and that you are going to go and see her, and that you would like him to bless that visit, to facilitate that for you, to put his own feelings and his anger or whatever it is that happened on the shelf and allow you to go and be with your mom. And just remind him how important it is for us to be there for our families when they're old, right? Your mother, again, she's your mom. You only get one mother in this world. And so assuming that he honors his parents and he places importance on honoring his family and being there for him, ask him to return that. And if he's not willing to listen, if his ego is too big, if his pride is too big, if whatever happened 15 years ago is still getting in the way, maybe that's the time where you need to reach out to someone else in the family to help you both have a conversation about this. Maybe you need to reach out to your brothers and ask, what was it that was such a big deal? Ask your brothers to apologize. Ask your brothers to take the high road. Ask your brothers to do what's necessary to mend this relationship so that not only is there not this ongoing hostility, but also there aren't any blockades to you getting to your mother. Let them know that this fight has had such a negative impact that Shaitan has been able to get between your families in such a way that you're afraid of not being there for your mom. So again, maybe it's your brothers, maybe it's someone else in the family, but you need to have a conversation. You deserve to be with your mother. You deserve to be by her side, and nobody should ever block that unless your husband literally thought that you were like risking your entire life physically to go and be with her. Nobody should even have an opinion against you being with your mother. It's his job to manage his anger and to manage his feelings. So practically speaking, again, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah to facilitate this for you. Ask Allah to soften his heart. Second of all, ask your husband to imagine being in a situation where you guys are old and you miss your children and something like this is preventing them from seeing you, and how would you both feel? Third is to let him know that you don't feel like you could live in a positive way, if not project negative feelings on him, if your mother was to pass away and that you weren't able to be there with her. And to let him know that you do not want there to be something that comes between the two of you, but that may be something that could drive a wedge in your marriage if that was to happen. Fourth, if you think it's going to be beneficial, talk to your brothers. See if there's a way for them to rectify whatever it is that happened between your husband and them. And fifth, if not, consider involving someone else in the family that can speak to him and bring reason to him. Is there an elder on his side of the family or your side of the family that he would respect and listen to? He is only thinking of his own feelings and his own anger when he says, no, you can't go. He's not connected to your feelings. He's not connected to your mother's feelings. He's not in a place of empathy. So invite him to empathy. Invite him into your heart. Invite him into your fears. Invite him to understand what the consequences are going to be, down the road if you're not able to rectify this quickly. And so I ask Allah to facilitate this for you to be able to be with your mother while she is alive, to bring joy to her, to serve her, and inshallah for your husband to get the reward of serving her and honoring her as well. Assalamu alaikum.